Good evening, YouTube. This is the Jerry Hinkle program brought to you, as usual, a couple of times. Dr. Pepper. I am a pepper. You're a pepper. Well, okay. I'm a pepper. He's a pepper. She's a pepper. We are a pepper. And wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Be a pepper and drink Dr. Pepper, would you? Well, Uncle Jerry is going to try to keep it brief, but Senator Hinkle, filibuster guy, he might come out and we might be up to 15 minutes on this unit. But a lot of things have happened. A lot of things did happen. A few things are going to happen tomorrow that I want to touch on briefly. Actually, it's an anniversary tomorrow that I want to talk about. So let's get right to it. Yesterday, first of the month, Super Bowl. Two teams that I don't really care about played. One of them ended up winning. It was the team that didn't deflate their balls properly, or so it has been alleged. Just so any of those lawyers don't come on to me about that. And so I guess their ego has been properly inflated, though, hasn't it? Oh boy. Luckily, there was enough snow there that it kept all the rioting damage down to the bare minimum. So, and of course, that always happens during a big Super Bowl in the riots. Super Bowl was played in Arizona. Coincidentally, Arizona, the state where my parents are vacationing. I don't want to say that my parents are wealthy, but they're in Arizona and I'm here. So, and it's all wealth is relative, and they are my relatives, and so they got enough money they can go, and more power to them. They worked hard all their life. They made their money, and they're going to spend it the way they want to, and that's the way it should be. Just like I made my own money, they don't tell me how to spend it. They advise, and we talk about that. But there's things that I spend my money on that they probably would not approve, but there's nothing they can do about it because I'm here, they're there, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And besides that, I know Mom's listening, so I sure don't want to offend my mother, because she's been supportive of this whole program. She never complains about all the little jokes that I say, and she never complains because she's got the heart of a saint. She does, and so good for Mom. What else are we going to talk about? Well, I guess, okay, so the Super Bowl's over. The Broncos did not win. The Broncos weren't even playing in the Super Bowl this year, but the Seahawks didn't do too well. They were, I was paying attention. I know who was in the Super Bowl. I just don't care. To tell you the truth, only the really impressive thing about the Super Bowl was that Chevrolet Colorado commercial. I want me one of them pickups, and I have a birthday coming up. So any of my wealthy relatives, think about that. Don't actually do it. Oh my goodness, I don't want to actually drive it. I just want to think about it for a moment. If you really want to think about something for my birthday, how about that Olive Garden? Then again, I understand that according to their advertising, the Olive Garden treats you like family. I'm not sure I want that either. I mean, what's the first thing going to happen? I go there and they give Dougie the biggest piece of pie? I don't think so. Which brings us to today. And we are almost 5 minutes into the program. I told you this is going to be long. It would help if I could focus. And okay, so today was the Cracker Barrel at noon. Usually, the Cracker Barrel here in Cornfield County doesn't take place. It usually takes place on a Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. You know, we have coffee and we listen to the legislative delegation, our two representatives in District 20 and our senator from District 20. And instead, the Chamber of Commerce from beautiful downtown Mitchell decided that they would meet at the usual place, the MTI Amphitheater, at noon on Monday. And we're going to do again next month, March 2nd. They're going to be, and we'll see. There wasn't much of a crowd, but the parking lot was full because MTI had classes in session. So obviously, all the students that go to MTI at that particular campus building were there. So finding a parking spot was a little difficult for good old Uncle Jerry. But guess what? Did find a parking spot, got there on time. Noticed that there wasn't a whole lot of people there. But at the last minute, people kind of filed in. It was one of those deals. And they didn't. They talked about different things, about the conditions of the road and the bridges, and you know they do need attention, I'm sure. No one wants to drive over a bridge and have that sucker capsize, and down the river you go. And so I had in the back of my mind, I wasn't quite sure how to phrase the question, but I thought if ever I had the chance, I would ask the legislators just what can they do to increase teacher pay, because South Dakota here is 50th in teacher pay, which is, you know, kind of bad when you think that only Mississippi is below us. So I don't know that Mississippi's below us, but maybe it's the District of Columbia. I don't know, but there's, well, anyhow. But I just kind of curious about what they thought about that. But there were other people that had questions and about different issues. There was a fella there that he had so many questions that he asked one, and he said if there was time he'd ask more. Turns out that there was time, but he had left to. So usually how they operate this is the legislators that come to the Cracker Barrel from District 20, all three of them were in attendance, and they usually give a little statement about how they think things are going, you know, things that they're looking for, and of course the main part is they want their constituents, the people that voted them in, the people who didn't vote them but live here, and there were some things about there's a new legislative proposition out there, a Senate bill, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's available somewhere on the website if you understand that kind of thing. But they want to make in order to get some initiative on the ballot here in South Dakota, they want to go by 5% of the registered voters rather than the status quo, which is 5% of the people who did vote in the last election. And I guess we had a 50% turnout in the last election, so this would double the amount of signatures needed to get something on the ballot, and that might have even reached into elective offices as well. I'm not sure about that, but it was a good time. for political junkies like myself and everyone else who went there, you had the option of reserving a box lunch for yourself for $10. And I saw this, I don't know what was in there, but the box wasn't much bigger than this can of Dr. Pepper, which is our sponsor of the week. So maybe it just looked small because well, what I ought to do is I ought to get that. I want to get that and see. I will maybe do a segment next March if the program is still if we haven't been canceled by then. Well, I might do that. And so we come to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 3rd of, let's get back to today. I forgot what this morning was, Groundhog Day, and heard an interesting statistic that I don't know that it's ever been brought up before, but it was brought up by a couple different meteorologists this time, and that is that the weather predicting rodent, the groundhog, one in Pennsylvania and the one in New York, whose name I cannot recall, but there's the Puxatawny Phil, and there's a fellow in New York, the groundhog in New York, that has a different name, not Puxatawny Phil, but something else. Anyhow, these groundhogs, away they go up and they see, if they look for their shadow. If they find it, you get 6 more weeks of winter. If you don't, I guess we get an early spring, according to the folklore. Interesting thing about that, Phil in Puxatawny saw his shadow. The groundhog in Rhode Island did not. I saw my shadow this morning, so I guess my winter coat will stay with me for at least until the 21st of next month, the month of March. And so, okay, 39% was the statistic there. The groundhog is 39 is right, 100% right 39% of the time. That's not a very good statistic, is it? You could flip a coin and be more accurate on that unit. So I guess that's okay. Today's business is over. New business of tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 3rd of February, and it was on this date in 1959. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to get really technical about it, just a few hours, it'll be the exact anniversary of it, because that plane crash that took Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, and of course their pilot Roger Peterson, who doesn't get talked about very much because nobody ever heard him sing, but it's important to note that he was lost in this plane crash too. It was around 1 a.m. Nobody knows for sure. They know about when the plane took off, and they know where it crashed, and they can kind of guess as to what the speed might have been when they hit the ground. And there's ways of looking at that I have no idea. Anyhow, so it's their anniversary, the anniversary of when we lost those 3 entertainers. Oh my! I am sorry about that. But notice I have not touched myself in 14 minutes. That's like a new record, at least an on-camera record. But in case I shouldn't shake this up too much. We don't want to have an eruption or something. But so we. And there's been a movie, the Buddy Holly story, came out around 1978, 79, around the 20th anniversary of his death. And in 1987, La Bamba came out for Ritchie Valens. A lot of people might have seen those movies and know a little bit about that. And I would advise you that even though those movies are not very historically accurate, they kind of give you an idea of who those two great gentlemen were. And one of the reasons the Buddy Holly story wasn't so accurate is because they were going by a book that it was, I don't know, but they didn't get the rights to the real people involved, and rather than go about doing that, they also butchered some of Buddy Holly's music in that movie because they didn't want to pay the legal rights, and apparently they can. That's why I kind of do that myself for a different life. Like when I did the Martin Luther King thing, I changed the words around so I didn't have to pay anything for it and get sued or anything like that. But that's how that came about. And so in honor of those three, I would like to sing a song. And I thought, like I say, Buddy Holly had his movie, Ritchie Valens had his movie. So I chose a big bopper song, and it's not going to be Chantilly Lace, although but I'd like to end this program and end the program with a song that he wrote called "Someone Watching Over You," and here it is. If you do your best to do what's right, and you don't have trouble sleeping at night, and the devil don't fill your soul with fright, then there's someone who's watching over you tonight. If you do what you can for your fellow man, and you treat him like he is your friend, well, okay. I have a little block there. Well, that was there's some more there. And he'll watch over you as you rest your head. Angels will be sitting at the foot of your bed. If you do your best to do what's right, and you don't have trouble sleeping at night, and the devil don't fill your soul with fright, then there's someone who's watching over you tonight. And I hope there is someone watching over you tonight. This is the Jerry Hinkle program. We are brought to you by Dr. Pepper. I'm a pepper. He's a pepper. She's a pepper. We're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? You bet you do. So drink Dr. Pepper, and you will be pepper, just like he and she and I. And I'm sorry for all the Big Bopper fans out there, both of you, I'm sure, who watch the program. But that kind of happened. I just forgot the words. I should have done Chantilly Lace, but it's too late now. We're nearly at the 20-minute mark, so I'll just leave you with the usual. God be with you, and do the best you can. Bye now.